I can't.
Oh my God, Matt Walsh made a whole ass video on it. Oh, I'm losing it. Oh God, we gotta watch this now. Oh, now that we watched this, it's so sick. I don't know what this is. Okay.
Cannot
shit.
give a full analysis of the Super Bowl or the Super Bowl ads if for whatever reason anyone actually wanted me to do that. I watched the game rather half-heartedly, paying only vague attention because I was bitter that my Baltimore Ravens weren't playing in it. I'll admit that. I was bitter. And in protest against this injustice, I boycotted the event. I mean, I still watched it, but I watched it unenthusiastically. So it was a heroic form of activism on my part, you must admit. But in any case, I did happen to glance up during...
It is really sad. Whenever I see stuff that's like humanizing, for example, the fact that he's a fucking Baltimore Ravens fan, it makes me very frustrated. Because like, I hate when you have like this guy is just all hatred. Okay. So for him to have any humanizing moment, I'm like, fuck you, dude.
An early commercial break, when we saw what would prove to be one of the most viral ads of the night. It was another Super Bowl commercial for the He Gets Us campaign. The campaign, first run by a group called the Servant Foundation and now run by a group called Come Near Incorporated, both funded by mostly anonymous, but we can assume extremely wealthy donors, is ostensibly meant to evangelize and promote Christianity. Indeed, they're spending tens of millions of dollars to run these ads during the Super Bowl. There are many very credible and biblically grounded Christian groups in the world that would love to have the resources to run a commercial during the most watched television event of the year, but most of them wouldn't have those kinds of funds if they fundraised.
Be careful, Matt. Be careful, Matt. It might be your own donors, Matt, that you might be talking shit about. Don't write him off so quick, Matt. Watch out, baby. Ain't nobody that's funding a fucking Super Bowl ad for Christianity is going to be actually quote unquote woke, Matt. They're probably your donors, Matt.
Been saved for a decade. The people that are behind He Gets Us do have that money, which means they have a unique chance that few Christians will ever have. They're able to present a message to 100 million people all at the same time. In fact, this Super Bowl is certain to be among the most watched events of all time, making this an unprecedented, or nearly unprecedented at least, opportunity. So what will they do with it? What message will they send out to those 100 million souls? How will they use the millions upon millions of dollars that these 60 seconds of ad time will cost them? Will they call the world to repentance, to humility, to obedience, to virtue?
I mean, technically, they did do that. I mean, it is like their ad literally was the most like Christian ass ad, like to a T. I can't believe I'm defending the fucking ad. Although its background is kind of sus. Like, this goes to show that for conservatives, and this is something we already know, Christianity is simply about being mean, okay? He's vice signaling against Christianity because a Christian group literally was trying to market itself as like more tolerant rather than less tolerant. It's every part of their it's every part of their identity. It's like their core principle is just like, no, you don't understand, dog. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad fucking guy. I hate everyone. I want to kill people. I'm just evil. Okay?
No, 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 and no. Instead, they did this. Watch.
It's so funny. Like, no, dude, these are literally hateful people behind this ad. And they're just trying to do marketing, dumbass. It's like if McDonald's made an ad being like, our burgers are 100% USDA approved. And then you, as like a McDonald's fan, came out and were like, no, you don't understand. Those burgers are actually not approved by the USDA. It sucks. It's the worst burger you'll ever have, actually. And that's why I like it. I like it because our burgers kill people. The fuck's wrong with you? They're doing marketing. They're literally promoting like Christianity from the perspective of like humility. And Matt is so mad.
Okay, so for those listening to the audio podcast, the ad consists of images, which may not have been AI generated, but certainly look AI generated. Images of various people getting their feet washed in various situations. And then we see the words, Jesus didn't teach hate, he washed feet, appear on the screen. Now, before we even talk about...
It's so funny. That message is so funny. It makes Jesus look like he's a foot fetishist. That's the only part of the ad that I like. If I'm like some fucking Christian guy, I'd be like, what the fuck? Why did you make Jesus look so weird and freaky? No, don't send me the Tesla economics tweet, please. We just read it. Oh my God. I swear to God, that Tesla tweet has given me psychic damage. Okay. When I go back to thinking about how another man could ride for another this much in such a funny, fantastical scenario that is literally the exact opposite in the real world, like objectively. That's what the Tesla economics account was doing on Elon's dig.
The actual images themselves and what they specifically depict, the very deliberate choices that were made and who gets their feet washed and who does the washing. We can already determine that the ad is, at best, a wasted opportunity. The most generous thing I could possibly say about a message like Jesus didn't teach hate is that it's redundant and pointless and benign. And that is, again, in its best form. Because everybody already knows that Jesus didn't teach hate, okay? We know that. It's the only thing that most people these days know about Jesus. The fact that Jesus didn't go around telling his followers to hate people is an extremely well-established fact. Again, it's like the only well-established fact.
Bro, he's mad. Why are you mad then? Yeah, give us like lesser known facts about Jesus, like how he was totally fine with sex work. I don't know. Is that what you want?
These days. So no.
He's like, everybody knows Jesus loves people. How about Jesus hates people? He's like a what? What? Look at his tail. What do you want? He's like, oh, you love Jesus? You love Jesus, but you're bringing up his most famous album? It kind of doesn't seem like you love Jesus. It kind of seems like you're just a phony Jesus fan. Why are you gatekeeping Jesus? He literally is just like, man, it's really fucked up that these guys did an ad and then only talked about like Jesus being open-minded to everyone.
Nobody was ever confused about it. We know that Jesus didn't hate people. We know that hating people is bad. Nobody believes in...
Have you ever had a Christian try and share the gospel with you, Hassan? He wasn't fine with sex work. That's quite a trail. Stop. Not the gatekeeper Jesus. Kind of true. Okay, we won Jurgen Stein over with a gatekeeping Jesus moment. I thought he was totally fine with fucking sex work. What do you mean? Jesus loved them hoes. Okay, he did. He hung out with prostitutes. What do you mean? The fuck are you talking about? Jesus was gay fit, hung out with prostitutes, literally has a Mexican name. Jesus is a gay guy in WeHo. What the fuck are you talking about? He's got a body that won't quit. The only type of body you can achieve if you go to Equinox West Hollywood. Okay? He was an Arab? Yeah, but I mean he has a Mexican name. Anyway.
Promotes hate for its own sake. Even hateful people don't see themselves that way.
The story of the Good Samaritan is literally Jesus showing kindness to a prostitute, was also trapped in the desert with a baddie and abstained. Yeah, because, not into women like that.
Okay, so yeah, there are hateful people, but they don't see it that way. So if you declare hate is bad, everybody will agree, whether they're hateful or not, and you will have accomplished nothing. Pure Talk believes in American values.
Okay, what the fuck? He went into an ad? God damn. Oh my God, fucking Twitter. Oh my God, fucking Twitter videos. Fucking Twitter video, Jesus Christ.
Was feet washed by what's washed. Well, we see a few should be directed at bad things. We should hate bad things, and we should love good things. This also may seem obvious, but it's a distinction that many people in our world often miss, which is just another reason why putting out a broad anti-hate ad that offers no further insight into the issue is useless. And if it's not useless, then it's actively harmful. And that is the case for this ad, which brings us to the images on the screen. So who are the people getting their feet washed? Well, we see a few sort of non-specific, generic feet washing scenarios, if that can even exist. And then we see a white man washing the feet of a Native American. We see another white man washing the feet of a climate protester. We see a white woman washing the feet of, I guess, her Muslim neighbor. We see a white woman washing the feet of an illegal immigrant. We see a cop washing the feet of a black guy in a back alley. Kind of strange. I don't know what's going on there. We see a priest washing the feet of a gay black guy on the beach. And then we see a woman outside of an abortion clinic getting her feet washed by what appears to be a pro-life protester. Now, you'll notice that, unsurprisingly, the ad is very careful to make sure that it doesn't depict a white person getting his feet washed by a non-white person. So we see every...
Bro, he's literally like, why? Dude, he's mad that there's like only white people are doing the washing. He's like, come on, man. Why won't you do like a black guy washing a white guy's foot? I wonder why. Because perhaps that depiction would look weird to normal Americans. You know, Americans who are not fucking as obsessed with like white superiority as Matt Walsh is, because he's paid to be as obsessed and presented as like, see the world through that lens all the goddamn time. It's funny because it's like the exact opposite. You know, the exact opposite shit.
Every combination of feet washing going on, except for that one. Apparently, Jesus calls us to wash feet unless you're black and the other person is white, because that would be racist. And this already tells you everything you need to know about the campaign and the people funding it. The ad strictly follows and respects the left-wing victim hierarchy and dutifully makes sure to not depict any image that would run afoul of the rules of intersectionality. If they had reversed the roles in any of these scenarios, then the ad would have been, to at least some small degree, culturally subversive. Okay, what if it was the black guy washing the feet of the cop?
The entire point is power dynamics, bro. What the fuck? What if it's a slave washing the foot of a slave master, for example? You know, a historic depiction. Yeah, I wonder why some fucking group that's trying to like promote Christianity didn't do that. I wonder why a marketing initiative didn't just have this like obviously insane depiction that would look really fucking racist. It's so fucking strange. I'm no big city lawyer. I am not a fucking theologist, okay? And it's very strange to me. I'm not a Christian. I didn't grow up Christian. I didn't grow up in a Christian country. And yet, even I get what the fuck's going on when I watch an ad that is supposed to promote Christianity to a broad audience. Matt, on the other hand, who's supposedly a Christian, only cares about Christianity from the framework of just being hateful. Like, he's like, I don't understand. Why is this ad not bigoted? What the fuck's going on? Give me bigotry. Everybody knows Jesus loves everyone. How about how many people Jesus hates? Give me bigotry.
But you would never see that. Okay, even though, and people defend the ad to say, well, are you saying we shouldn't love each other? Okay, well then why don't we have the black guy wash the cops' feet? Shouldn't he love cops? If you saw that, well, that sends the wrong message. We can't have that. But, you know, at least that would have offered the viewer something that they don't already see. It would have given them something to think about. It would have challenged the viewer. But they made sure not to do that. So what's the problem here? Aside from the political correctness with the racial dynamics, what's the problem? Well, to begin with,
I legitimately think he's like a fucking idiot, right? I always used to think, like, Ben Shapiro fakes it. Ben Shapiro actually fakes it. Like, I mean, he's a bigoted person, obviously, but he like greatly amps it up for content. I think Matt Walsh is like obviously a real legitimate hateful person, but he's also kind of stupid. Like, I don't think this is one of those moments where Matt Walsh is doing this video and is secretly like, yeah, I don't really give a shit, but like, I don't know. We got to make content somehow, right? Like, I think he's legit like dumb and very fucking racist that he's like, why didn't the Christian ad, you know, showcase racism? Like, that would be cool. This is a man who has no internal thoughts. Like, he has no inside voice. He's just like, no, I'm a fucking dumb idiot and I'm very hateful. And I think like, why didn't the Christian ad show hateful stuff? Like, that would have been dope. Because I think that's how we should present ourselves as Christian. Everybody knows what is in the writing, that like Jesus loves everybody. How about all the people Jesus actually is supposed to hate? Why was it the slave not washing the slave master's feet, Matt Walsh? No, I literally just said that. Exactly. It's so dumb. Like, the entire point is Jesus is the... Why? Why does the Pope wash people's feet, dog? Why do you think? Think, Matt. Think, Matt. Think. Why does the Pope wash people's feet? The random people are the powerless ones. He goes to Africa and he washes like tribe members' feet and shit. Why does he do that, Matt? Because he's the one in power. He's one of the most powerful people on the fucking planet. And he, much like Jesus, is like doing this thing to showcase, like, he's humbling himself. That's why all of those depictions show people with power, with more power in the dynamic, washing the people that are powerless in that circumstance. What the fuck? How am I, a Muslim man, trying to fucking, and a really bad one at that too, like just a culturally Muslim person, grew up in a Muslim country, not exactly a fucking dude who gives a shit about religion at all. Why am I the one describing to a guy who brands himself as a real Christian, okay, literally calls himself a theocratic fascist? Why am I describing this to the Christian guy who's just mad that, like, there is a very real power dynamic in Christianity, or very real power dynamic in the world, and Christianity is supposed to show that you're supposed to be humbling yourself constantly and be more understanding of the other? It's so weird. It's so funny. This is literally supply side Jesus shit, dude. He's doing it unironically. Remember the joke? Ironic because Al Franken wrote it originally. Supply side Jesus. Jesus is not going to heal the lepers because they're out of coverage. That sort of thing, right? That's like a very old, back when liberals were based, meme. Okay, these are 2006 memes. I love Bush era liberalism. It's one of my favorites. Supply side Jesus is a very prescient, very funny joke. Okay, except Matt is literally doing that. He's like, why did Jesus even heal the lepers? Like, Jesus should have privatized his healthcare. It's obvious to me that Jesus actually should have been a defender of private healthcare, private health insurance. It's weird. Jesus should have beat the shit out of Mary Magdalene, actually, and chastised her for being a prostitute. Not allowed. It's not good. I don't like that. I think it's really fucked up. Jesus left money on the table. Yeah. And it's like a very odd thing to just like look at Christianity, like look at the Bible and look at the most obvious lessons in the Bible and be like, that's woke. They're becoming the meme. They are becoming the meme. The meme that, like, you know, they're so fucking mean and so ruthless and so shitty as people that they literally are claiming that the Bible is too woke. It's odd, man. Yeah, the story of the Good Samaritan, fucked up. How about the Bad Samaritan? Why does nobody talk about how Jesus would have been a bad Samaritan? Yeah, I hate love thy neighbor. I'm here to kill thy neighbor, okay? Love thy neighbor. How about arming yourself with an AR-15 and killing your neighbor because you were really scared that someone broke into your house and you fired it, and the NATO rounds went through, pierced through all of your fucking paper-thin walls and actually killed your neighbor while they were sleeping. That's what Jesus is about. It's supposed to be about that kind of shit. That's what America's about. As a Christian, I love the Bible too woke to become a thing, so all these freaks won't be associated with Christianity. Long way to go, but just a thought. I mean, yeah, it is. It's just like American conservatism is antithetical to the teachings of Christianity, which is a very common meme, obviously. Okay? But goddamn, we've officially moved into an era. I mean, here it is.
The
Supply
gospel
side
of supply side Jesus. Pontius Pilate summons our hero.
Bring me this king of the Jews that I might meet him. This supply side Jesus.
Supply side Jesus arrives.
So you are the supply side Jesus. What a magnificent robe you have.
Because of this robe, 10 craftsmen were able to feed their families. The goldsmith who made the trim and the filigree was able to hire an apprentice because I paid him so handsomely.
And what a beautiful haircut you have, supply side Jesus.
The barber who gave me this haircut was able to hire a manicurist. She had been a prostitute, but because I needed a pedicure, she is now able to fulfill her true potential.
Yes, the cuticles are absolutely perfect. But there are those in Jerusalem who are not happy with your radical new teaching, supply side Jesus. Watch yourself.
Supply side Jesus leads his disciples past a leper colony on his way to the Sermon on the Mount.
Should you feed the lepers, supply side Jesus?
No, Thomas, that would just make them lazy.
This is the best line. No, him telling Thomas, no, Thomas, that would just make them lazy if I healed them. That's it. That's republicanism. Okay, that's it. I mean, this is an Al Franken banger, 100%. I know I'm a boomer, but this actually is like, I think the animated version of it doesn't hit as hard, but like it's originally supposed to be a like a panel, like a comic panel, and it's very good.
Shouldn't you at least heal them, supply side Jesus? No, James. Leprosy is a matter of personal responsibility. If people knew I was healing the lepers, there would be no incentive to avoid leprosy. Supply side Jesus, I think I've got a great line for your Sermon on the Mount. It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. For shame, Peter. That's class warfare. But it does give me an idea. It is easier for a rich man to enter heaven seated comfortably on the back of a camel than it is for a poor man to pass through the eye of a needle. If you are prosperous on earth, that means that God is rewarding your rugged individualism. If you are poor, it is a sign that God frowns on your reliance on handouts. The only way to gain entrance into God's kingdom of abundance is to show your faith by giving to Him through His only Son, me, supply side Jesus. My disciples will now pass among you, and he who gives more than 1,000 shekels will become a supply side Jesus.
I mean, this is literally the basis of prosperity gospel. This sounds like Calvinism. I mean, yeah, this is American Christianity. American Christianity is like you know how Islam has a lot of like, I guess, roots that are, or a lot of fundamentals that are about like not taking the money and giving it to the church, like in the form of tithing, but instead directly giving it to the poor. Islam is the most updated version of the Abrahamic religions and therefore has like way more socialism baked into it, I guess, or whatever, whichever way people understand socialism. Okay. Bad day to shit on prosperity gospel. Wait, why? Mass shooting. Wait, what the fuck? Suspect legally purchased rifle using the Lakewood shooting. Houston Police Department says. Wait, what? Houston, Texas person accused of firing rounds at Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church has been identified as a Genesee Yvonne Moreno, 36-year-old Hispanic woman, according to a search warrant. Houston Mayor John Whitmire and Police Chief Troy Finner gave an update. Overnight agents with the FBI, Texas Rangers, and ATF raided a Conroe home believed to be connected to Moreno. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Turns out, like, is this Joel Osteen's church? Is that what it is? Read between the lines, the cop shot the kid, not the woman. Authorities also found anti-Semitic writings, but did not provide further details. Police say that they believe that this was a dispute between her ex-husband's family, some of whom are Jewish, but are not members of the Lakewood Church. Wait, what? Shooting has brought up concerns about safety of religious institutions. Finner said patrols will be increased. The series of events unfolded just before a Spanish-speaking service as thousands of people were packed inside the megachurch. I was linking it earlier. Hogs and Zionists are going to lose their minds because the shooter is an AMAB trans woman, had Free Palestine on the gun. It was not an anti-Semitic writing. Oh, that's... Wait, what? The Jerusalem Post reported she has a Free Palestine on arrival. Yeah, I had no fucking clue this shit was happening. I don't know. I don't know if any of this is like real or not. They were not trans. That's been debunked. See, dude, by the way, she's not trans. Read my previous message. I'm just reading shit from the chat. Careful. Fox News has been reporting that she's trans and hasn't done a retraction. Also, she had Free Palestine written on the gun. Yeah. I think the right-wing conspiracies, ironic, because we were just talking about how like supply side Jesus is like, interested in arming every American. Like right-wing Jesus loves giving every American an AR-15. For the record, going for, and also doubly ironic because we were just talking about how right-wing people basically have completely fucking lost the plot and are just constantly fucking imagining the world and seeing everything from the most schizo lens. This is another part of that. This is yet another part of that where people will just go, oh yeah, they're trans immediately. It doesn't matter. They do it every single time now. She literally gave birth to her child. She isn't trans. Yeah, I don't know anything about the story. It's breaking shit. I'm obviously not going to cover it yet. And we'll see what happens afterwards, like when there's more details. But of course, that won't stop people from running with this person is trans. Shouldn't you wait until more details are released? I always do when it comes to American mass shootings, with the only exception that, I mean, I guess it happened yesterday. The only exception of that being that if there's like extra information that comes out from like official authorities that go against like the misinformation that's like exploding. Oftentimes it's just basically someone claiming falsely that the person is trans. Very rare, it happens, but very rare is it that there is like an actual trans person that does it. But it seems like there was a church shooting that occurred where a woman walked into popular Joel Osteen's like popular Texas megachurch on Sunday afternoon with a long gun, and her 70-year-old opened fire before she was killed by law enforcement officers on the scene. The gunfire left the child in a critical condition and another man injured. Authorities are now probing the shooting at the televangelist pastor Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church, roughly 6 miles from downtown Houston. The woman identified in a search warrant as Genesee Yvonne Moreno, 36, entered the church shortly before 2 p.m. wearing a trench coat and a backpack and opened fire. Houston PD Chief Troy Finner said in a Sunday afternoon news conference. Yes. People are saying the shooter was trans. Turns out shooter's not trans. I couldn't even finish this goddamn Matt Walsh bullshit because I got the cop shot the kid. You know, it's likely. Could have happened.
So she has utilized both male and female names, but through all of our investigation to this point, talking with individuals, interviews, documents, Houston Police Department reports, she has been identified this entire time as female, she, her, and so we are identifying her as Genesee Moreno, Hispanic female.
Far-right extremist accounts like Liberty's TikTok rushed to call the shooter at Joel Osteen's church a transgender woman. The police have just confirmed that that is not the case, and she was a biological mother of a child who was shot. They won't apologize or retract the lies. Even Elon Musk jumped in on the throw gasoline on a disinformation fire. This solely arose because the shooter used various aliases that were documented on arrest for charges including forgery. It's not uncommon for arrest records, especially for forgery, to do this. Leftist activists are already coming to the defense of the trans Texas church shooter. They're shifting the blame onto us and claiming that this consequence of criticizing radical trans ideology. What kind of hormones and drugs was the trans terrorist who shot up a Texas church taking? This I/O account is like straight up a race realist account, right? And Elon is constantly responding to them. An anti-Zionist transgender immigrant from El Salvador shot up a church yesterday. This is going to be lighting up right-wing X all day. Dude, I think it's kind of wild to be a white person and talk about mass shootings, like talk about the background of a mass shooter and be like, see, it's a brown woman that did it. It's like, dog, are you completely oblivious? Like, the majority of the mass shootings are done by white men. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is some real woke DEI shit right here. Oh man, we finally got him. We got a brown woman doing it. Like, there's like a handful. The fuck? Hello? Anyway. I just checked in to see if you talked about this. I guess I have to watch the clips being cut tomorrow. No, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know this thing happened. It's like when the EDL talks about Muslim pedophile rings when white men do the most pedophilia on Pedophile Island. I know. But it turns out she is not trans, at least. So that's one of the things that they just fucking ran on. Fox News reported that she was born as a man, but the police stated she believed to be the biological mother. Fox News is yet to retract the story. Fox News has stealth edited their article and removed the claim that the shooter was trans. Yeah, Marco Rubio also went with it, I guess. People need to move out of Twitter. There should be some discussion and planning about this. Blue Sky is finally open to the public. Yeah. People seem more concerned about the gender or race of the shooter than the victims of the shooting. Yes, dude. Because in America, mass shootings and shootings in general happen so commonly and so frequently that we've moved beyond this being like a thing that's interesting. It's only interesting when it's like something that you can utilize as a political message. Yeah, a fucking kid was shot in the head. Exactly. Not interesting. Okay. It sucks, but it is the truth. In the eyes of the broader public, because this shit happens every day, multiple times a day, people don't give a fuck. That's why most people just rush to immediately be like, well, the shooter's trans. Shooter must have been trans. Shooter must have been trans. Must have been a trans shooter. And like, because no one ever gets punished for saying that, okay, I've noticed this happen quite a lot. Back in the day, they used to do this for Islam. Anytime a terror thing happened, okay, anytime an act of terror occurred, it'd be like Muslim man, Muslim, must have been a Muslim. We got to talk about Islamic terrorism. A lot of you probably were not old enough to remember like post 9/11 world, like immediately in the aftermath, but 75% of acts of terror since, I remember this was like a 2016 study or something. I remember covering this and people being shocked. Where I remember talking about this. 75% of the acts of terror, domestic acts of terror, were conducted by white men that were anti-government far-right extremists. Okay, it's a broad categorization, but it's like most people at the time when I used to talk about it were like, "The fuck do you mean? Like, what do you mean? That's crazy. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all," because everyone was so perfectly conditioned into thinking that every act of terror on U.S. soil was conducted by a fucking but was conducted by a Muslim person. Nowadays, they don't really do this. They don't really say that it's a Muslim person. They just say it's a trans person now. Yeah, remember, acts of terror often blamed on ISIS or ISIS sympathizers. Exactly. So, police have not shared details about the motives of the shooting. Gunfire unfolded while church was in between service and preparing to go into the Spanish service, Osteen said. I can only imagine if it would have happened during 11 o'clock service. The shooting is just the latest of gun violence in America. 2 off-duty law enforcement officers confronted the shooter. 2 off-duty police officers were present. 28-year-old Houston Police Department officer, 38-year-old agent with the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Both with less than 5 years on the service. They engaged the shooter. She was struck, the police chief said. Shooter used a legally purchased AR-15 with a Palestine sticker on it, police said. A federal law enforcement source previously told CNN Free Palestine was written on the gun. She also had a .22 caliber weapon in her bag, which was not used in the attack, according to federal law enforcement source. What? ISIS are probably considering claiming the shooting too law. No, bro, this is a El Salvadoran lady. Yeah, I assume that they weren't just off duty. They were probably security. A lot of off duty cops do security for events. I suspect that they weren't just simply at the church. They were probably paid security. Very common. Both officers engaged with the shooter were placed on administrative duty pending the investigation as is protocol with officer-involved shootings. It's traumatic not only for our community, but it's certainly traumatic for the officers who had to take a life, and we worry about their mental health as well, so our prayers are with them. Oh, man. Yeah, police hate taking a life. They just famously. Yeah, shooter had a history of criminal charges, mental health problems, mental health challenges, going through ups and downs of trying to turn her life around and launch a business. It's crazy. How the fuck did she get a gun? I'm the most ablest motherfucker when it comes to giving out gun licenses. You know what I'm saying? Based on everything you read, would you say she's an extremist? Dude, I don't fucking know. How can I make this assessment? Like, there is not even remotely enough details. You think I can make an assertion after reading like a 5 minute, reading 5 minutes of an article? There's no fucking information on it. Like, when a white person walks into a black church, okay, then yeah, it's like pretty obvious what the goal is. All right. But when you walk into a church like Joel Osteen's church, that's everybody. That's for everyone. You know what I mean? It's a mega church. It's a massive church, a mega church. It's not like specifically a like targeting one group of people. They're mixed. Anyway, I feel pretty comfortable saying that someone who shot their 7-year-old made some extreme decisions. Do we know if she shot her own son or if the cop shot the son, because that much wasn't even clear from the allegedly. Yeah, it seems like that's not clear that she did that. She might have, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like that was the case. I didn't get that. Yeah, Lakewood has a service in like 14 languages. Yeah, mega churches for everybody. They're massive. So please hire me as an intern. Why would I do that? Yeah, let me get free labor, dude. That seems good. Surely that won't turn into a massive issue. Records from the Texas Department of Public Safety show Moreno with a string of arrests for minor offenses over the last 2 decades, including possession of marijuana, an assault, illegal possession of a weapon, resisting arrest, forgery. But in her 30s, she described herself on social media as a founder of a real estate financial services firm. By her own account, she is involved in the sales of everything from new condos to shopping malls. Social media post March 2020 shows a screenshot from Lakewood Church thanking Moreno for her donation. So she also has like an involvement with the church too. A CNN review showed the story of a bitter custody battle between Moreno and representatives for her ex-spouse's family played out on her social media accounts in 2022 when she had divorce proceedings transferred to county court. Damn, bro. DEI in the fucking family court. This is what happens. You see this? As family court DEI. Divorce dads, how about America? We now have divorce moms. That's a new one. I mean, I said this when the Nashville shooter was trans. Like, it came out that they were trans, right? And then that week we had like a string of mass shootings that occurred, or the school shooter was trans, and then there was like an old Asian dude who did a mass shooting too at their place of work. That's America, baby. Everybody gets a piece, and that's a double entendre, really, when you think about it. But everybody gets a piece. Right? It's the most American thing. It is eventually somebody is going to do a mass shooting and they're not going to be like a straight white guy. Okay? It's going to happen. That's it. Anyway. So let's continue with Matt Walsh getting upset that Christianity promoted tolerance at the Super Bowl.
We should say, Jesus did not go around washing everyone's feet, okay? There is precisely one story in the New Testament of Jesus washing feet, and it was at the Passover meal before his passion and death. In that case, he washed the feet of his disciples, okay? The people closest to him, his disciples, people that have been following him.
Oh my God, he's literally doing supply side Jesus. He's straight up doing supply side Jesus unironically. He's like, you don't understand. Actually, Jesus did not heal the lepers. He only healed them because they said there's a quid pro quo there, okay? He only would heal the lepers if the lepers were on board with him.
Literally, throughout his whole ministry. And now that did include, of course, the disciple who was about to betray him. But the point is that these were his disciples. Like, he wasn't out in the street washing the feet of every unbeliever and unrepentant sinner who walked by. And we often do this these days. Like, we take singular moments in Jesus' ministry and we extrapolate them, making them out to be regular occurrences. But that's not a fair or accurate assumption. So when we say Jesus didn't hate, he washed feet, it makes it sound like it was something. It was like a.
Bro, why is he trying to desperately make Jesus out to be like almost like a crypto guy or something? You don't understand. Jesus was incredibly self-interested, okay?
You know what Jesus wouldn't do? Spend $28 million on television advertising. he'd probably just give that shit away to some poor people.
Yeah, that's lame as hell, dog. Okay.
I don't think you get him.
That's lame as hell, bro. No, he wouldn't. Okay, that's socialism. And I get my theological understanding of Christianity from a dude who very clearly gets it. Okay.
Standard form of greeting. You just wonder what. There's one story.
In the book of John, after he washes the disciples' feet, he encourages them to wash other people's feet. Dude doesn't know.
Of that happening in a very specific circumstance for a specific group of people. Did he ever go out in the public and wash feet? Well, we don't.
Bro, this is wild. First of all, every story in the book, even if it's a singular instance, is supposed to be extrapolated upon. That's the whole purpose of fucking religion, dumbass. What the fuck? Do you think like in the Old Testament when the 26 children make fun of a bald guy and call him, hey, Baldy, and the bears come down and kill all those fucking children, that's actually a unique instance? All right, and it's just about that one singular instance? Or is it about like literally, don't make fun of bald people because bears will kill you. God hates when you make fun of bald people. Isn't the entire point of the fucking Bible that it's like a book of stories where you look at the stories and you go, how do I extrapolate lessons from for the real world from this? Oh my God.
We don't know. Like there's no reason to assume he did. There's no mention of it. But we do know that.
I can't believe I'm over here behaving like Jordan Peterson, but like there's a whole. What is the reason behind stories if this fucking dingus looks at it and goes, no, that's a real thing that happened in the real world and it was a one-off. Nothing matters before or after, okay? Like, what's the reason for he's doing, bro? First of all, isn't this baptism? Like what he's talking about is like being a Baptist, basically. I guess like he's a textual literalist. But for Christianity, he's just like a fundamentalist, I guess, in that situation. He's like, yeah, everything in the Bible is just like, it's a one-off. It happened one time. And it's literal. Talk about the Quran, I dare you. You should talk about how the Muslim religion destroys countries, dehumanizes women that you so-called care about. You're so fake. Are you just saying all of this since the majority of your viewers are Muslim or something? Wait, you think the majority of my viewers are Muslim? Are you okay? First of all, I did talk about Islam as well. All religion is subject to interpretation. All religion is a matter of interpretation. That's kind of exactly what I'm talking about with Matt Walsh. If anything, Islam, being the updated version of the Abrahamic religions, of the other three, or the other two of all three, actually has a more strict interpretation that requires, requires to follow certain codes of conduct. Why are you arguing with a Reddit atheist? Because this Reddit atheist is a fucking idiot that thinks like it has anything to do with Islam, while I'm literally in the process of like parsing through Christianity and talking about how someone's interpretation of the Christian religion is wrong here, because I have a consistent perspective on this matter, religion can be used for good, like liberation theology, or it can be used for bad, like white supremacist chattel slavery. Okay? Both sides of the slavery argument were literally fought with religious undertones. Religion is just a tool. It's just ideology. Okay? That's it. That's it. So when these fucking dummies don't realize that I'm actually separating Christianity from Matt Walsh's interpretation right now and immediately go, it seems like you're shitting on Christianity. How about you shit on Islam? They fail to understand that I'm not shitting on Christianity. Okay? I'm shitting on a false interpretation of Christianity. And now he turns it around and goes, oh, you're talking about Muslim religion, destroy countries, dehumanizes women that you so-called care about. First of all, Islam had its fucking golden age while the Angloid barbarians, okay, the supposed Christians, those Angloid barbarians were dying because they couldn't fucking wipe their asses, okay? I'm actually a girl, not a man. I don't give a fuck what you are. You're just a dumbass regardless of what your gender is, okay? You're a dumbass, Islamophobic freak ass bitch. Okay, how about that? Is that good? Is that a better explanation for what you are? Dumb fuck. You're so fake. Or are you just saying all this is the majority of viewers are Muslim or something? The notion that, like, one, I hide my perspective, okay, because like somehow I'm capitulating or caving to this fantasized audience that you think I have. It's also funny that you think my audience is mostly fucking. It's funnier that you think my audience is mostly Muslim. You know what my audience is? Mostly atheist or agnostic. Okay? 72% of this community is either atheist or agnostic. What the fuck are you talking about, you dumb fuck? It's so funny. People always are just like, yeah, I actually decided that Hasan has to be pushing these positions because he's like really worried about losing his tanky fan base. All of his audience is Chinese. All of his audience is Muslim. All of his audience is actually Islamist fundamentalist, depending on who's making the argument. Or maybe I'm saying the things I'm saying because I believe in them. You disagree with them. So you're like, and you're so conditioned into believing that like everyone that feeds you information has a secondary interest, okay, and are backed by some other additional motivating principle that's not just the truth or whatever they believe genuinely, that you think, oh, you must be grifting. There has to be a reason why you are, in my opinion, this open-minded about like religious people and why they believe the things that they believe. Oh, it's so dumb. You are fake and you know it's show proof. Go to a Muslim country and talk about it and make fun of Muslims. Wait, oh wait, you cannot. Yeah, dumb fuck. I am from a Muslim country. Okay? I literally grew up in a Muslim country. You are such a fucking ape, dude. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. I cannot. Dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. The incestuous Angloid needs to be studied, okay? Literally, just so fucking stupid. Just so brain broken. Go to a Muslim country. I am from a Muslim country. I grew up in a Muslim country. Okay? And I made fun of... I was a way more aggro r/atheism style dipshit back then when I was at the Muslim country than I am now. I have grown infinitely more tolerant. Okay? I have grown infinitely more tolerant as time has passed by, especially as I've seen the way that Western countries treat Muslims in general. Okay? Show the birth fortifications or pipe up, pipsqueak. Yeah. Anyway. Maybe if you were a male, you wouldn't support the Quran. What? So dumb. That person was making a joke, I think. Anyway, let's finish this.
Out in public. Whether or not he ever washed feet, we don't know. But we do know that his fundamental message was this: repent and believe. I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance, as he says in the Gospel of Luke. This was his message, not stop hating, okay? There was never that. It was repent and believe. And yet neither one of those points were mentioned in the ad, curiously enough. So is this a good entry point, though? You know, maybe that's the argument. Well, yeah, it's not really the gospel, but you know, it gets people in the door with the feet washing stuff. Well, no, it's probably not a good entry point. It probably won't get them in the door. And even if it does get them in the door, they'll be coming through the door for the wrong reason. When you say to
yeah, you should not be going into a church because you think Christianity is promoting thoughtfulness, open-mindedness. It should be teaching hate. We don't want these woke losers of marginalized backgrounds coming into our churches, okay? That's awesome. Thank you, Matt Walsh, for openly demonstrating that you're openly demonstrating two things. One, religion always is subject to interpretation. And modern conservative Christianity is just pure, unadulterated bigotry and trying to bastardize the fundamentals in religion for that purpose. He is so openly saying this. Matt Walsh is basically the IDF Judaism connection, but for Christianity, okay? There is no real connection there unless you just want to be a bad person and associate your bad actions with religious purpose. Ridiculous. Or, here, I'll give you another example. ISIS Islam. A lot of dumb fucks think ISIS represents Islam. It has nothing to do with Islam at all, as a matter of fact. ISIS says they ride for Islam, but they're not actually doing Muslim shit. Only one group gets to fucking ride for this bigotry, though, and associate it very openly with their violent actions. And that is reactionary conservatives, okay? Fundamentalists of every background. Whether it is a fundamentalist of Jewish origin, a fundamentalist of Christian origin, or a fundamentalist of Muslim origin. Reactionary people love talking about how religion is the reason. ISIS is Islam. Oh, shut up, dude. This is the weakest top of the hour bait, okay? It's the weakest bait for the top of the hour, Zoe V6A. Waiting for me to fucking pull your logs up so that you can just be like, oh, at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute break. Now what happened? You got timed out, and now you look like a bigot. Now you look like a bigot. Ha! At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, okay, if you don't want to look like a bigot at the top of the hour like Zoe V6A, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free, okay? I know my community too well. Got him. He's wrong even about the literal text, by the way. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. More assuredly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is he who is sent greater than he who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. John 13:14-17. I don't fucking know. I don't know enough about it. All I do know is that religion has been a motivator. Verses 14-17. Religion has been a motivator, or like a secondary purpose in every conflict since the beginning of time. It is never like the sole reason. It's a way to galvanize people. It's a way to engage in team sports. That's it.
Unrepentant sinners, come and get your feet washed. You are reaffirming them in their sin. You're feeding into their pride and ego. Okay, for the disciples, this is another key difference. For the disciples, getting their feet washed by Christ was a humbling experience for them. They felt uncomfortable at first. They tried to stop him. Okay, they knew they were unworthy. But and that, again, a major point.
Bro, that's crazy. He literally is looking at what? I think his framework is so busted. I don't know if this is like common amongst American Christians, I guess, but he's like, it's so weird. I thought Christians were supposed to kind of like overlook all the socialist messaging in the Bible and not directly try to tackle it head on and be like, actually, it's the reverse of the lesson that you're supposed to be learning. No, this is why I'm joking and saying that like this is unironically Al Franken's supply side Jesus. It's like he looked at the supply side Jesus memes and was like, no, this is actually real Christianity. I've decided.
Here was humbling for them. But if somebody sits down and says, yeah, come wash my feet. I deserve this treatment. Come cater to my every whim.
No, dumbass. The entire point is that someone in a position of power is being understanding to those who do not have power in that immediate dynamic. Like Jesus Christ having a position of power. Okay, one of the most powerful people, right? Son of God. The fuck? Lowering himself to the same level of his disciples, saying like we're on the same, we're doing it together, you know? Like I can do this. I have humility, and you should do the same for others. That the lesson is that even the most powerful person on the planet is still a servant of man, that we serve one another. What the fuck is happening? Why am I defending the Bible? This guy literally goes, egalitarian messaging in the Bible? I hate that. Don't give me that shit. Love thy neighbor? Fuck that. I hate my neighbor. Okay? Turn the other cheek? Yeah, fuck that. I'm actually directly facing this dude and murking him. Thou shalt not kill? I love killing. Fuck you.
Then the very last thing you should do for that person is actually wash their feet, whether literally or metaphorically. You know, you are not saving anybody's soul by feeding their ego. Yes, we should be inviting sinners into the fold. We're all sinners after all, but we're inviting them to repentance, to strive for virtue, to live holy lives, or at least to try. The problem with modern Christianity in many cases is that it offers the invitation, right? But it forgets what the invitation is for. Now, what you see in this ad is not Christian love. This is self-debasement. It's a humiliation ritual meant to satisfy the egos of people who need their egos punctured, not inflated even more. And does it work? Does this kind of messaging actually succeed in growing the church? Does it bring in the lost sheep? Does it do whatever it's supposedly meant to do? We don't need to speak theoretically about it. If you're a defender of this kind of messaging and you say, no, it brings people in, okay, where? Where has it worked? Christianity in the West has been sucking up to people who hate it, has been sanitizing itself, has been watering down its message, preaching against hate, but never saying a word about repentance for decades. And over those decades, we've also seen a record number of people leave the church. We've seen church attendance dwindle to record lows, while atheist and unaffiliated self-identifications rocket to record highs. If this hippie Jesus messaging was ever going to actually work, you think it would have started working at some point over the past, I don't know, 50 years? Unless, of course, the collapse of Western Christendom means that it is working. If that's actually the point, if that is the goal, then actually it has succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams.
I don't know what to say to this. Does Matt think that the people left the church because there isn't enough hate? I think I'll explain it like this. I think the people within Christianity, within Catholicism specifically, for example, that recognize that their power is dwindling and their influence is waning on the planet due to the repressive, due to the fundamentalist principles that they still try to carry on as progress has moved past them, and therefore make an effort to reform, are actually a little bit smarter as far as like genuinely trying to engage in self-preservation. Okay? The Pope, the current Pope, being woke, unironically, is definitely smarter than trying to uphold very serious, very rigid rules of practice. And throughout history, this has worked. I don't know if Matt is a Christian or not, but as an American Christian, we are almost all impacted by exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? With the exception of Catholics, I guess. Like literally, that's the entirety of Protestantism is a bastardization upon Reformation. It's like historically speaking, the irony of an American talking about wanting to turn the religion dial back is hilarious, because this is Lutheranism and then a jump off point from this reformist movement. Most Americans abide by one of these things. They're not literally fucking Catholic. Unfortunately, however, religion, with some notable exceptions, I guess, has reformed, especially in America, in a very different way. It's been revised in the opposite direction. Okay, not in a direction that's more tolerant or more understanding, but instead in a direction that is less tolerant. And it's very strange, bro. I'm gonna fucking, oh my God. Take a week off. Stop linking me dumb shit. Anyway,